It's coming home, it's coming. Okay, that's my terrible English accent, but you have to love that song from Lightning Seeds. Look it up if you don't know it. It's the English song for the Three Lions. Is it coming home? Let's find out more in one moment. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Extra Time TV. I'm your host Sooklal, and today we're going to speak about what happened in the quarterfinals, but particularly England. The Three Lions have a legitimate chance of getting to the final and winning their first World Cup since 1966, and also an international trophy. Now the reason why this is special for some of you who have been looking at football forever, you all know that the England team and the Three Lions have always been, on the receiving end of jokes. The Premiership is the best, yet they always perform terribly. There's those incidents that they did really well in 1990 that I remember. That was the last time I saw them did pretty well. Unfortunately, they went out. Also in 1998, Glenn Hoddle's team with three at the back, which is interesting, which we'll talk about. They played really well then. Unfortunately, they went out to the penalty shootout hoodoo that they always seem to have. But it seems like it's different this time around. And I'm not going to go into a long documentary about this, but there's a couple factors you have to look at. First off, the bracket seems to be really working in the English favor. All the strong teams are on one side of the bracket. And to be honest, a Colombia team that isn't the strongest Colombia team, but that was their first real challenge. I don't think Sweden was really much of a challenge for them. A lot of their goals have been scored from set plays. That's also something very interesting. But we're going to speak specifically about the last game and heading into the next game. So, of course, we have some technology on our side. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the heat maps for England. So, we have our wonderful piece of technology here, so let's check it out. So as you can see from the maps here, Sweden spent a lot of time in their own half with the 4-4-2 formation. And as you can see the heat maps, the concentration of movement is clearly in the wing-back positions and in the wide areas. So that tells you a lot of where the Swedish players were. Now, if you look at the English side of things, there wasn't too much areas of particular concentration. It shows that England, with the three at the back, were playing all over. They showed a slight bit of preference to the left side. But what's very interesting, if you look in the finishing third of the English heat map, there's not much there to be seen. It's actually pretty, dire in the back there. You don't really see much. And the reason why that's interesting, if we go back and look at the other match when England played Panama, you'll see an interesting fact. So if you take a look at that, you'll see that England, strangely enough, they got a lot of space, a lot of movement. And if you look at the map, you could see that a lot of concentration was in the middle of the field for England. There's a lot of activity in the middle of the area. And once again, in the final third, there wasn't that much. There was a lot of concentrations in the middle, but not in the finishing third. And that's very interesting because it goes to show that England are not penetrating as much as they are portraying themselves to be. And just based on the maps, you could see that it shows that a lot of goals were scored from the set pieces. So they're not getting that penetration. And the only side that they really got penetration against was Panama. And that's why I'm showing you all this heat map. Because if you look at the Panama side of things, Panama barely got out of their half. It was focused primarily on one side, as you can see. And, Panama was a team completely in disarray, which allowed England to foray across the midfield and got a lot of movement on the ball, which they did not get, which takes us to another heat map. And let's look at the interesting contrast between England and Belgium. So let's take a look at that. So as you can see, it's a completely different story of Belgium. As you can see on the map here, England didn't have as much freedom as they did, and you can see why. Completely different story, a complete contrast. England sticking with the same formation, three at the back, 3-1-4-2 formation, and Belgium with the 3-4-2-1 formation, which is very similar to what Argentina tried to use but didn't work because the wrong personnel were there. But if you look at the heat maps, it's a dark contrast, and this is the game that England lost. If you look at the heat maps, England were primarily focused on the right side, and there was hardly, that much penetration as before. There was a lot of passing around, but the concentration was primarily being built, and what that says is that England was trying to build a lot from the from the right side of the field. And if you look at the Belgium heat map, you can see that it was spread out all over. There was concentration on both sides and in the middle. And what those indicates, those were the areas where a lot of the passage and movement took place. And England did not have that in this game, and they lost. Now, a lot of people are saying the conspiracy that maybe England threw the game, which is very clever It's frowned upon, but it's very clever because what they did was they skillfully negotiated to be on the easier side of the bracket. And if they had an analyst, he'll probably sit down and say, hey guys, you know what? Not winning this game is not really a big deal. I think it's probably not good practice to say that, but to be honest, I think I would not be surprised if that's what they did. Belgium, to me, I think Martinez came out and said, which I think was not a smart thing to say as a coach, that don't quote me on this, is not the exact quote, but I think they came out and said that, hey, listen, we're going to go out there but not to win. That's, to me, that's insane. You don't say that. So with that being said, we're going to go back to the last game. So here we go. And this is why I brought this up, because it's very interesting to see that. So let me adjust that here really quick. England played with the 3 at the back once more. Sweden played an interesting formation, the 3-1-4-2. I mean, it sounds very fragile, but the 3 at the back is a very misunderstood formation. If you look at the heat maps here, you can see that England, once again, a lot of concentrations on the both wing back positions and in the centre back positions. Now, if you're just going to analyze things, they pass the ball laterally along the midfield area, but it didn't really get that much penetration. And it goes to show once again that if you're looking at this team, the one criticism that I would have of this English team is that they're solid, very compact, but they don't really penetrate that much. But Southgate has created a team that is very effective on set pieces. Harry Kane has scored a lot of goals, but the reason why I went through these teams is to show you the comparison between playing teams like Panama and when they played Belgium. Colombia was a team in complete disarray, which we'll probably take a quick look at in a moment. But it goes to show you that this is a team that, against tougher opposition, they have a tendency to be spread more wide, and they usually reach up to the middle position and don't really have that much concentration moving forward. Now, they do get forward, but what these maps emphasize is that their style of play, when they play strong teams, gets hampered a lot, and they're going to have a challenge against a team like Croatia, who's good in the middle. I think the physicality of England may be an issue for Croatia because they seem to struggle. They can't seem to sustain 90 minutes. But it's just an interesting thing. Now, these things could be interpreted in many ways. Someone else could look at these maps and come up with something very differently, but it just goes to show you. So let's take a look at the shots on target. So let's take a look at that. As you can see, there's some interesting facts here. As you can see here, Sweden is in blue, England is in red, and Sweden got, several chances on target, and England as well. But the efficiency and the turnovers, and then also, the manner on which the goals were scored. So, this is where data still needs the human element to understand what's taking place. As you can see here, Sweden did create chances. It's not like they didn't. But unfortunately, India, what am I talking about, was definitely way more efficient. So, that's an interesting thing to look at, because England now, based on this, it shows that even though there's a lot of passing in the wing areas, that shows that they build up play and basically complements and kind of works with what Gareth Southgate is saying. Against a team that is really strong in the midfield, they may have problems. But fortunately for England, they haven't really had a team to play like that. I think Colombia was probably their biggest challenge, and with James Rodriguez not being there in Colombia, being ridiculously theatrical, I thought the emotions got to them. They caused England some problems, and teams that are really strong in the midfield. So let's assume they get past Croatia. They'll have to play, possibly France, or Belgium. We'll see how that goes. And I think England would not want to really face up against a team like France. They'll probably fancy their chances against Belgium, because Belgium, they are very talented, but the middle area, it's very physical, but those guys are not really solid at holding the ball in that midfield zone area. And, that's something that maybe Gareth Southgate will be looking at. But let's not jump too far ahead. Gareth Southgate and England fans, as I said before, I am also guilty of it. England, have earned a reputation of being international tournament flops, except for a couple occasions. They have talented players. But give credit where it's due. Gareth Southgate has put together a solid team. Fortune has smiled on them. They got a favorable draw. And listen, you still have to go out there and win your games. And why shouldn't they believe? Why shouldn't they be playing the Lightning Seed song, It's Coming Home? So it's a very interesting way to look at things. So let me know what you think in the comment section below. Of course, this is down to interpretation. That's a wonderful thing about this game. We could look at this game and interpret it in many ways. And those people who keep saying you don't win games with statistics, that's crazy. You do. You may not know that you're using it, but you are. their statistics and analysis, and it's not just about numbers, it's about taking the data and transforming it into something that's usable and tangible. And that's where these things come in handy, and it's very exciting, it's fun. Of course, all this could go completely out the window and none of it could matter, but it's very interesting, and we'll definitely be doing a lot more of these. We'll definitely be looking at Brazil up next and the Belgium game and how Belgium's chances will be, also the French. So let us know what you think. There's a lot more stats, but there's only so much we could fit in, and we don't want to bore you guys with a whole bunch of data. So let me know what you think. So once again, this is Sooklal of Extra Time TV. Don't forget to check us out on Flow Sports. I'll leave the link in the description below. We'll be having weekly episodes, which will be aired constantly. So once you look at Flow, you're going to see EXTV popping up. It'll be like this viral thing that you can't get away from. And this World Cup has been very interesting. And if it's one thing, it's a World Cup where stereotypes have been thrown out the window. So usually if you told someone that England has a chance of winning the World Cup that's not English, they'd laugh in your face. But give credit where it's due. They got a favorable draw, which a lot of people are leaning on, but they also have to win the games. And I think Gareth Southgate picked an interesting team. This is a very enterprising team. And the last time for me that England played really well was in 1998. And guess what? They played 3 at the back, Glenn Hoddle. And guess who was on that team? I'll let you comment in the comment section below. It's someone on this team. It's kind of a dead giveaway. So with that being said, this is Sooklal. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment in the comment section below. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram. Follow me at Sooklal on Twitter and Instagram. Extra Time TV at EXTVTT. Email us at extvtt@gmail.com. Check out our website, www.extvmedia.com, and also check out our episodes. The first one will be in the link in the description below and up there. So this is Sooklal once again, signing out.